Hello, welcome back to Learn Oikonomia. Today we are going to see angel tax and the issue related to it. We have seen that angel tax is a very recent way of taxing and it has some implication on angel investors, and not only that, it will be influencing the whole economy. And let's see how this would be forming some issues on the economy. So looking at the concept of angel tax, as I was telling you in some of my previous videos, this is something which was formerly known as Section 56(2) 7B of the Income Tax Act. And as a result of this, funds raised by this taxes the funds raised by the startups if they exceed their fair market value of the company. Okay, and this is something which would be acting as a tax on the startups. And which all startups, if these startups are having some funds and if it is exceeding the fair market value of the company, and that amount would be taxed by the government. And it was introduced in the year 2012 by the UPA government. Why they have introduced it is to dictate the money laundering practices, as well as it has some intentions. It had in 2012 it had some intention to catch the bogus startups. Okay, and that's why it has gone for angel tax. Now if you look at the past few years, what you can understand is that some startups were raising concerns over this new tax. They were considering this tax as extremely unfriendly. And also many of them are identifying angel tax as an unfair tax. Why? Because they say that this is just not possible to calculate the fair market value of a startup. For the same reason, the government might not be able to see whether these startups are raising funds which is above the fair market value. This accurate calculation is not possible. When this accurate calculation is not possible, how can the government go for this unfair and unfriendly tax? And these people, angel investors, they are also alleged that in order to calculate a fair market value, the officer who is behind the calculation of this, whom we call as the assessing officer, this person chooses a cash discounted flow method. Cash discounted flow method. And this method, when it comes to this method, this is not very startup friendly method. Even though this is not startup friendly, when it comes to the officers who are calculating this taxes, this particular cash discounted flow methods use the tax calculating officers. So from the angel investors perspective, it is something that is unfriendly to them, but at the same time, from the perspective of the assessing officer or from the perspective of the tax calculating officer, it is friendly to the calculating officer's perspective. Okay, it is easy for them to calculate with this method. And recently, in the last December, over 2,000 startups in our country has received some notices in order to clear their angel tax. And some other investors, like some other people who were going for startups, were notified to pay an expensive penalty. Even the government identifies it as a penalty for not paying the tax on time. Also, the department was asking for certain documents which the angel investors consider are something not required, but they are creating problems, and this made a clash between the government and angel investors. And If you look at the very recent budget which was presented for 2023-24 period, the government was proposing to go for an extension in the provisions of angel tax. And this is to transaction involving foreign investors. Again, remember, this is not for anything to do with the domestic investor. It is just to do with the foreign investors. And again, the government is not at all ready to stay away from angel tax. The government says that if you are having a startup and if it is having some fund which would be raised by the startup, and if this fund exceed the fair market value of the company, it should pay tax. The government is sticking on to this. And that's all about some of the issues and tussle that has been created between the angel investors and the government as a result of the introduction of angel tax. And still, this is a topic that is being considered for discussions and debates, because still there exists a lot of need to clarify the provisions of angel tax. And whenever the government says that it is trying to boost the economy of India, and even though when the government says that it is taking so many measures to boost the economy of India, it is providing some incentives to people who are ready to make investments in India. Just remember, angel tax will always act as a discouragement for prospective investors who are interested to make some startup in India. And that is why these investors are trying to create some kind of change in angel tax. They always want to make the government take a step to stay away from angel tax, but that might not be possible. But at least some kind of reduction should be made in angel tax. Some provisions, some more provision need to be added here. Some more existing provisions need to be deducted to make angel tax investor friendly and also government friendly. So that's all about today. You can watch the video on angel investors and angel tax. I'll be sharing the links of these in the description box. I've already done videos on these. So this is a continuation of what we have already done. I request you to like, share and subscribe to this channel for more videos, and you can be a part of my Telegram channel and Telegram group to discuss your doubt. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.